You're not on the field, court, or ice. You're on the couch. From DG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, CWall, delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from a hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's Seawall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you're not on the field. Cold on the ice, pick any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am. Through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it, make them mad, man. Seawall and we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your Washington Commanders update, and I am your host, Seawall. And listen, this one is a little different because, as you all know, we just went through the NFL draft. Went through the draft, 3 full days of activity. And on this here show, we're going to go through all of the Commanders picks. Okay? We're going through all of the Commanders picks. You want to make sure you are sharing this show with your fellow Commanders fans. We're going to absolutely go through this show, and I wanted to share something else as well. We've determined that this is kind of like the season finale of the first season from the Coaching from the Couch series Commanders update. After this show, we'll be airing some of the reruns and all of that on Bowie television. And then we will start with new shows in end of July, beginning of August, so that, you know, we have new content and fresh content. So just wanted to let you all know that. So you absolutely want to make sure you are sharing this show for certain, because we're going to run through all of the draft picks. Make sure you're sharing it on your page, into the Commanders groups, because you can always watch it later, but it's a lot of fun when you're able to engage online with everyone. So, you guys, I see that folks have already checked in. I see Darrell from Legacy Maker Sports Network checked in. Thank you so much for the shout out. Of course, Cameron Mingo. And of course, I see the hellos to my mama already. So you want to make sure that you all are checked in for certain. Okay? So this is what I'm going to start out with. I want to start out with just some overall observations, because there was a lot that went on in those 3 days. So I definitely think it's beneficial to share just my overall observations. Then we want to go into each draft pick. So, y'all ready? Overall observations. Okay, is everybody checked in? Have you hit the love button? Because I'm not seeing much activity. I want to make sure everybody's there, and I've said hello to everybody. Okay? All right, here we go. So I see the love button coming in. So that means that we're live on the CWall Sports and Entertainment page. Okay, just some observations I want to share with everybody. And just so you all know, we're not only just going through every single one of the draft picks, we're also going to talk a little bit about the undrafted free agent signings and the veteran signing that has happened so far as well. Okay. Overall, here's some observations that I want to share. Here's something I want to share about the Thursday night event at FedEx. Make sure you are checked in. Were you at FedEx Field? Because if you were at FedEx Field, do I know about it? Did I see you? Listen, I really must commend the Commanders front office on how they are incorporating the history of the organization and the current organization. The way they're integrating alumni players and current players, I think is really, really cool. And I want to make sure everybody is like acknowledging that. Even at the draft in Las Vegas, I thought it was super dope that for the second round, Santana Moss said hello and did the second round pick. And then third round, Chase Young did it. They've been doing things of that nature, mixing and mingling everyone the whole entire time. And I think that's very, very important to acknowledge because, hey, listen, if we're going to complain about things, I also want to share what they're doing very well with, as also. They had a lot of activities. They had a few of the displays that they had mentioned, and it was all very, very cool. So definitely wanted to acknowledge that for certain. Some may feel as though the Commanders were reaching. And yes, I think that some of the picks were absolutely a reach because they could have been drafted later. But I'll tell you this, the staff feels very confident in every single one of their picks. Every single pick. I think that's important to note. Not that they're going to come out and be like, well, our person was already picked, so we had to adjust, we had to make some movements. That's not what happened at all. They're very confident in who they picked and where they picked them. So if there's any conversation about reach, the Commanders don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that at all. I really want to acknowledge something about Coach Rivera that I think I learned over this weekend. I think it's very important. When the team made the 5th round pick of Sam Howell, and we're going to get into that for sure in a moment. Coach Rivera shared publicly that he reached out to Carson Wentz to let him know they were making the pick, to let him know that there was not much to be, concerned about, worried about. I thought that was very cool of Coach to reach out to Carson and say, hey, listen, we're about to make this pick. We want you to know. We want to make sure you're okay with it. Are you good with it? And I think that needs to be noted. It needs to be shared. It needs to be said. So I want to share that with you all because there's always so much wanting there to be some sort of quarterback controversy. And it was apparent that it was important to Coach Rivera to make sure that there isn't any quarterback controversy, because not only that, he also made sure to remind everyone yet again that Carson is QB1, Taylor Heineke is QB2, okay, Sam will be QB3. He wanted it to be clear again. So make sure you definitely tagging in your Commanders fans in this one, because that was important. No quarterback controversy, no quarterback competition. Everybody knows the 1, the 2, and the 3. Okay? Everybody knows everything. Going back to the undrafted free agents, Coach said there will be about 5 to 10. Turns out there's 13. So, hey, that's good. That's effective. Coach also mentioned they wanted to make sure they had more weapons for Carson. I think that's a key point. I think they have accomplished that. All right. Here's another thing. A lot of people are having conversations about this. I want to make sure that this is noted, because this is important. Let's get the fans engaged in this conversation, because we've been hearing it so much. Okay, been hearing it so much that Deron Payne seems to be safe. I know with the 2nd round pick, it made a few folks a little nervous, but hey, Coach said this is no indicator of where Deron is at all. He's still a part of the team. Absolutely. I mean, hey, is coach going to come out and say they're trying to work a deal with Deron? No, he's not. But at the same token, we all have to remember that the team lost in this offseason Matt Ioannidis and Tim Settle. So keep those things in mind when you are thinking through. We'll see if anything else happens, but coach has made it very clear that, hey, Deron is not, this is no reflection on Deron. This is none of the above. Now, this is my final thing on the overall observations from the draft that I think are important before we get into each draft pick. So far, resounding comments on each player in terms of their character. These young men have been noted as leaders amongst their teammates and coaches, well-mannered, just all around good kids. We all know that Ron Rivera is big on character. So this is telling, and this is a good thing that, hey, good comments, good feedback. So those are my overall observations from the draft before we get into each draft pick. Now, listen, and I want to acknowledge this comment, and for everybody who's checking in now, we've already gone through overall draft observations, and we're getting ready to get into each player. Make sure you're hitting that love button or like button so I can acknowledge that you're watching and you're here live, and make sure you're taking a part of the conversation. And exactly right, with CWall Chaplain, Nasdaq Merrick is sharing is exactly right. With all that noise, they need the good vibes. They need the great energy. And I think that's very, very much important for everybody. So Commanders fans, this is the Commanders show. Make sure you checked in. I see Eric Jessup has checked in as well. Make sure everybody is in, because now we're getting ready to get into each player. All right? Each player, we're going to go down the list. We're going to take our time with this one, okay? Here we go. First up, first round pick. And for each one, I really want to know you all's thoughts on these players and what they bring to the team. Now, here's what I'll say about Jahan Dotson. Was I expecting to see this? Absolutely not. No. There was other options available at that time, at that place in the draft. But hey, listen, there's a lot of great feedback on Dotson. Please don't be alarmed because his name is so similar and close to a former Commander. But listen, Coach Rivera himself said that Jahan reminds him a bit of Deshaun Jackson and Steve Smith Jr. A lot of folks love this pick for the Commanders to be alongside Terry because of his speed. And also, let's not forget, Curtis Samuel is still a part of this fold. We're hoping that he's healthy, right? Absolutely hoping that Curtis Samuel will be healthy this season. So that's good energy. That's a good thing. Nothing to be alarmed about. So just keep those things in mind. I think it's huge. Great attitude. If anything, a concern was around his size. So given his size, that is a concern because we're talking a lot larger. We're talking a lot faster defensive backs that would be covering Dotson in game. So with that being said, hey, it's time to get in the weight room. It's time to get all that done. It's still the off season, but I think folks are really excited about what Jahan can bring to the wide receiver group. Again, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Diami Brown, is still opportunities, is still some strength there. So by all means, something to be excited about. Let me know. Drop it in the comments. What do you think about Jahan Dotson and that pick? While you all are sharing what you're thinking about that, also gives yourself some time to let me know how you're feeling about the round 2 pick for Darian Mathis. Now, here's what I mentioned already, and that is Coach Rivera said this is no reflection of Deron and where he is with the team or where he is in the fold. That's Coach's comments, okay? So, with that being said, Fedarian was extremely excited. I'm sure you all have already seen the video that has gone viral when Coach Rivera called Fedarian. He was so excited he could not get himself together. You gotta love to see that when the reaction is so genuine and so pure, and you hear that excitement over the phone. So with that being said, also Fedarian said he had talked to Jonathan Allen. He's spoken with Deron Payne, and they are very excited about what he's bringing to the fold. He's been noted for his leadership abilities. That is something that everybody who has come into contact with him definitely is excited about for certain. And I think, hey, it's not a bad thing. As I mentioned earlier, the team did lose. Let's not forget Matt Ioannidis and Tim Settle this offseason. So you absolutely have to give credit where it is. They need to fill that hole. They have to stop the run. So this is an opportunity. And especially when, again, I'm going to go back to the character comment. When somebody is coming in the door with positive comments and people that are already in the locker room that can vouch for and say, this is a leader, right attitude. This is what we absolutely need and want to see. That's a good thing. That is absolutely a good thing. So keep that positive energy going. I think, hey, listen, again, like I said in the beginning of the show, where some may think it was a reach, Martin Mayhew and Ron Rivera were very clear. This is what they wanted to see. This is what they wanted to see. There were guys on their board, so they feel really good about it, okay? Really good about it. And I see some more Commanders fans have checked in and joined the conversation. Always got to say what's up to Bernard, Lamar, and Eugene. Talking Commanders draft recap here. Already have gone through observations. Make sure you hit the love button or the like button so that I know you're in the building. I see you as well, James Roundtree, getting ready to dive into the 3rd round pick because, yes, also wanted to mention, if you missed this is a big note. Technically, this show is the season finale. So we're going to do the draft recap, and then we're going to come back with the Commander show update when training camp starts back up. The off-season updates will happen on the Thursday show. So, hey, that's good. But for a minute, we're going to take a pause for the calls on the Commander show. But, we'll be re-airing all of the other previous shows, but I want to let everybody know that the Commanders updates will go forward on Thursday, but the Commanders only show will pick back up with the start of training camp. So get excited about that because it's going to be a lot to talk about. Let's go to the 3rd rounder. Why don't we? Now, let me tell y'all something. Okay, now wait a minute. Now, some folks might have said, what are they doing with a running back? Now let's dive into this a little bit. Now, Coach Rivera was like, I think you all are really going to like what Brian is going to bring along with JD and AG. I almost forgot his name. Antonio Gibson. And here was something that was big on this one. Okay? Something that was huge that I think people need to know and watch out for and keep your eyes on. What was impressive to me was the fact that Brian has gained about 800 plus yards after contact. Ron Rivera was real clear on noting that. Okay? 800 plus yards after contact. Another thing that is noted, and I'm seeing this comment in the chat, and I want to acknowledge this, okay? Because you all know on the show all season long, I'm gonna give Antonio credit where it's due. But those fumbles, that was an issue. A telling thing about Brian Robinson Jr., I'm gonna call it by his whole name, Brian Robinson Jr., 0 fumbles, 0. 800 plus yards after contact, 0 fumbles. Strong, fast, a lot of great feedback on Brian, his work ethic and character as well. That's the pick where your girl CWall said, okay, I see what you did there, Ron. And I like that. I like that because, hey, listen, everybody likes AG, but all that fumbling, hey, that wasn't cool at all. More to come and more to be seen, right? But that's a good sign. And it's also letting me know, and I hope it lets you all know as well, that those fumbles did not go unnoticed. Okay? Is everybody here with me? Give me a love button or a fire emoji if you get what I'm saying. Now, everybody hold on to the football, and then, hey, all I'm saying is I'm good with it. Because it was key moments that a fumble, it was some moments. I'm not trying to rehash last season, but we do have to go through each one of these picks. Okay. Those fumbles happened in very critical moments. Yes, he got over 1,000 yards, but imagine just how much better things would have gone if he only had 3 fumbles versus 6. That's all I'm saying. 800 plus yards after contact shows how tough and physical Brian is. And I'm staying on this pick because I liked it a whole lot. So I'm not, hey, after contact, 0 fumbles. Now let me calm down, because then I'm going to be seeming like I'm getting a little excited. And perhaps I am, maybe I am a little bit about that one. But we do have to move on. The next pick, Percy Butler. So listen, now you all know one thing that I pride myself in the CWall sports and entertainment community is transparency and authenticity. This is a pick that I had to turn around and say, who? I wasn't really sure. Now, of course, he's from wherever Brian Mitchell is from, Brian Mitchell's whole town. Okay, cool. That's great. That's super. But that was also the one that I was like, all right, let me do my research, because I'm not real sure about this one. Okay. Not real sure. Positive feedback, though. Let me be clear. That was just a CWall blunder. I wasn't real sure about him, so I had to do my research on Percy Butler. But so far, good feedback. There's always some tough things. And here's another thing that I didn't mention at the beginning when I went through the overall kind of layout, just the overall vibe of the draft. It just seems like the overall vibe of the draft wasn't, wow, whoa, wow. And I think it's because folks are always so used to, big names going early or a bunch of quarterbacks going early. That just wasn't that type of draft. But I say that to say also, these are the kind of drafts where you find the gems. That's where the gems will be. Like, oh man, nobody even remembers these people. But guess what? We all do now. And that's what matters. See, these guys will come in the league with a chip on their shoulder just because everybody said the draft was whack, right? So, hey, good. I'm with it. I'm for it. So it wasn't a lot of just hoopla and just not a lot of fireworks. But again, these are where the gems are found in these types of drafts. And hopefully Percy shows up. right? Still has some time to develop, still has some time to grow. Not certain if this is a player that I would be looking at to make a huge impact early, but still, welcome to the team. Welcome to the DMV. It's great to have you. Now, before we got to take a break, you guys, because I do have to take a break, and then we're going to continue with the conversation for certain. Let's go ahead and get right to it. Now, check in. I need a love or fire emoji if you remember me telling you all in the fall and dropping all sorts of hints. Oh, they like Sam Howell. Oh, by the way, they went to go see Sam Howell again. Oh, I'm not sure if you all have seen the reports, but they've sure enough gone to see Sam Howell yet again. Oh, by the way, the Commanders are at Sam Howell's game. Listen, everybody saw it coming. If Sam Howell was there, was part of the reason why they went ahead and switched with their favorite other team, the Carolina Panthers, and said, hey, let me get that top of the 5th pick because Sam about to go, and we got to go get him right now. It was a given. Everybody knew it was coming. Hey, here's what I'm going to say. Some similarities, and I'm going to go back to the point that Coach Rivera was open and honest and said he called Carson, let Carson know what they were doing, what they were thinking, and Carson was very appreciative that Coach called and, said, thank you for telling me that you were going to do that. A lot of good value, good going in the 5th. That's cool. I also want to mention here, I mentioned this at the top of the show, and I know some of you all are just joining. I'm going to mention this again. Okay. Coach Rivera done told y'all going to stop asking Coach Rivera who is QB1. You're going to stop asking him because he's sick of it. I really do believe he's tired of the question. He was very clear. QB1 is Carson. QB2 is Taylor Heineke. Sam, QB3. Okay? And being in the room, not only are they tired of that question, they're also quite pleased. They're very happy. They're pleased. I had to kind of hide my smile. I said, well, good grief. Aren't y'all happy today? And it's nice. Okay. It's positive vibes. This is cool. So, yeah. Stop asking them. He done told you. QB1, QB2, QB3. There's no questions about that position. They know. And they're very happy about knowing. Because knowing is half the battle. And everybody doesn't know. They know. They're clear. Okay, so listen, I saw already some comments from Lamar about that pick. And from Eric, you all let me know what you think about that pick. We're going to take it's a break from the conversation, but not a real break. Sometimes I'm asked, we're about to shift the conversation just a bit. Sometimes I'm asked by folks, how can you support CWall? Or how can they support CWall? What do you need? What should we be doing? Listen. Here are ways you can support CWall. Let's get into it. Make sure you have done what you're already doing. Like, follow, subscribe to all of the CWall Sports and Entertainment pages. As you know, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter. You can subscribe to the email list on the website. So make sure you are engaged on all of that, because as you all could see during the draft, the CWall Sports and Entertainment was on the clock all weekend, all up through undrafted free agents as well. So you always want to stay up to date with that news. Invite your DMV sports loving family and friends to engage and interact with the page. You can actually on Facebook invite all of your whole friends list to like the page. So feel free to do that. The more the merrier. You know, we always love more people. What you all are doing right now, watching Coaching from the Couch. You can find it anywhere. Of course, on Thursdays going forward, we'll pick back up on the Commander Show during training camp, YouTube the next day, and Bowie Television every single Friday. Shop the CWall store, wear the brand. Go ahead and sport it. soon as you tag us, we're going to make sure you're posted on the page. And as you all know, there is a foundation. We have started the community service aspect of what we do with CWall Sports. You can always donate to the foundation by going to www.seawallfoundation.org. Thank you for that update. I'm glad y'all sat through that. Now, because I had to tell y'all, folks been asking, so you're going to start seeing more of that on the pages as well. Now, are we done talking about Sam Howell? Are we done with that one? Because I think I am. It was good. I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine with all of it. And as we continue to go through that, start thinking about the grade you give the draft. Now, I want to talk about this pick right here. Yes, right here. Tight end Cole Turner. Now, here was something else I want to mention that Coach Rivera shared at the top of the week and at the top of the draft. Said they're going to get Carson as many weapons as they can. Cole Turner right here. His size, a lot of great feedback so far on this pick. Okay. Coach Juan, tight ends coach, went out to visit him in Reno. Lot of just super feedback here about his size and his ability to potentially make an impact coming in the door. Coach Rivera compared him a bit to Greg Olsen. I think this is definitely one of those picks where once I saw the name, I was like, oh, I think that's the tall one. I called it the tall one. I said, and this is exactly right. This is exactly what happened. I see this comment here from Russ McCray is they were going to go look at the quarterback and messed around and fell in love with somebody else. That's something. I think stuff like that happens in real life. And that's what happened to the Commanders when they went out there to go check out Cole. And I said, he's good. And just being very transparent with you all. I was on a show. I was on CBS Sports Radio out of Lynchburg before this show. And they wanted to know my favorite picks, my draft picks. And I told them it's Brian Robinson Jr., and Cole Turner. Those two right there. I said, oh, those are my favorite. They were shocked. They were like, oh, really? Oh, wow, I wasn't expecting you to pick those. Hey, after I did my research, you told me to pick one. And I said, well, can I pick two? Because it's Brian Robinson Jr. and Cole Turner. Cole Turner is my second favorite. Love what I'm hearing. Love the highlights. Anytime you go to look at somebody else and you say, wait a minute, I think we really want his tight end, pay attention. Pay attention. You got to pay attention to things like that. Those types of things are signs that this person is worth having on your team. The Commanders drafted Tulsa guard Chris Paul. Did y'all also know that there was a Kobe Bryant in this draft as well? A lot of different names. And I'm glad. I was happy to see it. Now, this guy, now listen, y'all. Let me take this down for a minute. Y'all know I get into he's a nice kid stuff, okay? Nice kid. And I believe in all of these guys. I do. But he's quite charming. He's very nice. And he's a singer. He can sing. And I was just like, wow. Here's a key thing that people need to know and understand. A word that Ron Rivera loves, that's versatility. If you remember in this past season, how many times did this team experience injuries and they had to move players from position to position to make it work? This is who you got in Chris Paul, okay? He absolutely can play more than one position. He's played guard and tackle. Versatility, another word that Ron Rivera loves to use. Listen. He's pretty good too. He's actually pretty good. And he's so delightful. He's really nice. I was like, oh my gosh, he's really a nice guy. This is sweet. This is awesome. And he's pretty fast too. Big guy, really fast, can play multiple O-line positions. Another position that this staff was all smiles about. And I was like, hey, if you happy, if you like it, I love it. But he was very delightful, very nice. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. You sing and stuff too. So yeah, that's the conversation for a different day. Who else is left? Here's another one where I had to say this is the Commanders' last pick in the draft, Christian Holmes at pick 240. I had to do some research. Let me be honest. I said I had to do a bit more research on Percy Butler and on Christian Holmes. Okay. And still kind of not rave reviews per se. He did stay in school a bit longer due to everything with COVID and his eligibility. He was able to stay a little bit longer. So he's, a bit older than his teammates. But again, great attitude. Could potentially make a strong impact. But other than that, it was kind of like, okay, it's a more to be seen. A more to be seen with Christian Holmes, at least from me. So we'll see how it goes. Here's the full list. Here's the full list of the draft picks, right? Here is the full list of the draft picks. I think I saw some comments. I think I saw a B come in for a grade. I think I saw a C- come in as a grade. Another question that I was asked on CBS Sports Radio Lynchburg was, do I think it was spectacular, solid, or just like a disaster? Like they did not at all do what they were supposed to do. And my honest answer was, I think it was solid. I think I really honestly feel like the Commanders did exactly what they said they were going to do. Some of the feeling I started going back to, and I think I shared this with Masdak. I said, I feel like when Ron says he feels like they were just a quarterback away, I think that's literally how he feels. And he operates as such. They wanted more weapons. I think they've gotten that. They've added depth. And so this is what we see. Along with that, let's also look at the undrafted free agent list. This is the offense. So like I mentioned at the top of the show, Coach Rivera said they were going with maybe 5 to 10. Okay, they ended up with 13. So here we go. All right. So this is who on offense that they've picked up. Undrafted free agents so far that they've picked up over the weekend. And so here's another list. Let me know if these are any of the players that you all really like or enjoy or watched. Who else from the defensive side of the ball. I've heard a lot of great things about linebacker Drew White. So I do want to call him out. Absolutely want to call out Devontae Cross as well and Devin Taylor. So, I mean, hey, we'll see what happens. I mean, I think they actually, my word was solid. What I said was solid. I didn't say it was spectacular. It wasn't necessarily the wow factor, but I don't think, again, going back to what folks were saying about the overall draft. I think they filled needs. They did. And so I can't be upset about that. The key is always staying healthy. But say it again, staying healthy. And while this isn't Commanders related, it's DMV Sports related. When General Manager and Coach Mike Tebow of the Mystics said, hey, it's hard to win championships. It's hard to make it deep into the playoffs when half your roster is injured. So if this team can stay healthy, or if they have some breakdowns and able to get people back, absolutely, kids, and come prepared. Come prepared for your opponent. You know, like to see a little bit more of that go down. But I think they're very happy. They're extremely happy. And we're going to go back. We're going to go to this as well. I'm not sure y'all saw this news that came out today with Try Turner signing a deal with the Commanders. Hey, listen, a lot of positive feedback. You all know, 5-time Pro Bowler. So they're taking their time. They're also seeing who's still available. We're going to continue to keep our eyes on the Terry situation. So this is what it is. I mean, here we are. And this is what I kind of shared with you all. I guess now it was 2 weeks ago that I, you know, when it comes to the draft, I really can't, I don't know, because you just wait. You got to wait and see what happens. You really do. And sometimes you know, it's kind of almost like the consultant answer. Well, it depends, or you have to wait and see. But you really do have to wait and see. Again, I'm going to go back to the point that I truly think Ron Rivera believes that the team is just a quarterback away. I think they have their quarterback in Carson Wentz, and they have 2 solid backups. And so he feels good about that. And he feels good about adding additional depth in key positions on the team. Like I said, the energy was good. Leaving out of the park Saturday evening, they were smiling. They felt good. You know, there was no disappointment. It was no feeling of the one that got away. None of that. So there's that. All right, you guys. So a reminder, this is like, again, the season finale of the Commanders update, the Coaching from the Couch series Commanders update. I'm definitely going to pick up the Commanders update again. And once training camp gets started back up, we'll be airing some reruns that we feel like are applicable fillers. I will be in and out of the park for the remainder of the off season. Make sure you all are following CWall Sports on all outlets or platforms so that you can keep up with what's going on, and you'll know when I'm out there for certain. But they have rookie camp, and this is in the spirit of transparency. Rookie camp is coming up this week. I will not be able to attend that. What else? It's a whole bunch of stuff. Rookie camp, then OTAs, veteran mini camp. OTAs, I'll be in and out. Veteran mini camp, I got to go back and look at my schedule. That's June 14th through the 16th. So we're going to be around. So thank you all for tuning in for the Coaching from the Couch Washington Commanders update. We went through a lot this first season of the show, from a name change to half the team getting COVID and just everything. And so when things pick back up with training camp, we'll start season 2 and we'll have some more fun. I mean, I have fun. I hope you do too. All right. That's a wrap. Now, you guys know every week, Thursdays, that's not going anywhere. Thursdays, we're in the building. That show going to be new. Unless it's not, then I'll tell y'all I got to be somewhere else. And so it's not a new show. But all right, you guys, thank you so much for all of the support and always tuning in and sharing the show and getting involved in the discussion. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so I guess I'll be seeing you guys soon.
You're not on the field, or ice. You're on the couch. From UG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, CWall. Delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from the hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's Seawall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you not on the field. Cold on the ice, pick any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am. Through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it, make them mad, man. Seawall and we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.